Welcome to the Voice of All Things. Before we start today, we just really wanted to quickly thank all of you for helping us reach 100 subscribers. This is a huge milestone. To celebrate, we've made our own little Discord channel where you can join us in discussion, debate, and help us pick the kind of content we'll be putting out next. With that said, let's get right into the video. In our last video covering some of our hopes for the One Piece live action series, someone commented that there are a lot of people talking about how One Piece live action should handle the cool moments from the series, but not a lot of people talking about how they should handle the comedy. So today, we're going to talk about just that. Now, there are a lot of great standalone gags that should be easy to translate into any media in One Piece, like Oda's personal favorite, apparently, when Robin wipes the soap slime from Sabaody on Usopp's pants. But what about the core humor of the series? Will it translate? How will the team handle it? Let's break that down now. Basically, One Piece's comedy falls into the following basic categories: puns, slapstick humor, the bait and switch, and ridiculous nonsense. Let's talk about puns first. We as English-speaking fans actually miss out on the vast majority of the puns in One Piece. Even if we do know a little Japanese, we probably read the series or watch it in English. So I chuckled a little at the realization that Sanji was just named based on his number, since San means 3. I also think it's funny that Zoro uses onigiri as an attack because I know onigiri as a delicious snack. But that being said, most of the puns in One Piece, I don't even know about them. And I'm sure most of you are in the same boat. Even if you do know a little Japanese, most of the jokes just poof away, like any memories of mermaids being at Eni's lobby. We'll get to that joke in just a minute. And I think a lot of you are in the same boat. You may know a few Japanese words, but you read it, you watch it in English. So we miss a lot of the things that are happening. For instance, do you remember the painfully cringy 4Kids dub of Zoro versus Mr. One, where every word out of their mouth was a terrible pun? I sure do. But did you know why they did that? It is because in the original Japanese, every word out of their mouth was a pun. The problem is, puns tend to be a bit more heavy-handed in English and less subtle than they are in Japanese. So even if the translators were to translate them directly, they wouldn't always be great. So, will this be a massive blow to One Piece's comedy? Well, no. Remember, you read One Piece in your language, relatively pun-free, and you still think that One Piece is funny. I mean, why else would you be worried about the humor in the live-action series? Now, if the writing team is clever, they will work in a few nicely placed puns. If they are less clever, we'll be basically experiencing One Piece as we already are, won't we? In short, I don't think we have to worry about the puns too much, but that still leaves us with 3 different categories of humor. Secondly, let's talk about slapstick. Most of the One Piece slapstick takes place in still frames after the attack is delivered, be it Nami punching Luffy, Nami punching Zoro, or Nami punching Brook. You know, I'm noticing a trend here. Anyway, despite the fact that the manga and anime both present these scenes as being completely still, slapstick translates pretty well into live action. In fact, for decades, slapstick was the backbone of American comedy. And it isn't just the United States parts of America. I watch Mexican TV. It is all slapstick and clowns down there. So I hope they get the live action in Spanish because you know what? They'll love it. Now, I don't watch a lot of Bollywood or British television, so you'll have to enlighten me on what kind of humor will be needed to satisfy those audiences. But I do know that British TV loves a good bait and switch, which we'll talk about next. But in short, with a half-decent director, not even a very capable one, just a half-decent one, slapstick comedy should hold up just fine under Western scrutiny. Basically, if the audience is going to like slapstick, they're going to like slapstick. And if they're not, they're not. Basically, if they stay true to the kind of comedy in the manga, the same people who would like One Piece anyway are going to like it in the live action when it comes to slapstick. Now, moving on to the bait and switch humor in One Piece. There are a few examples that I find most hilarious, such as when they're going to Water 7 and Kokoro hits us with a double whammy. She tells them that she drew a map to help them find Iceberg, but then later on, Nami finds that it's only a poorly drawn, scribbled, useless doodle, and that's hilarious. Then, when they finally deliver her letter to Iceberg, he rips it up because of the gross kiss mark on it. I loved that too. Now, this scene will translate pretty easily, as will my other favorite, when they're descending into Fishman Island and Nami's trying to describe how they're getting down there, but the crew doesn't get it, of course, because they're dumb. So she stops, but then Usopp tells her that he's listening. But when she continues, he then decides that nope, it's just magic that can't be understood, and joins the others sipping tea on the side of the boat. These kinds of jokes will be absolutely fine in the live action if the actors, especially the one playing Nami, can give us the right emotes, can really demonstrate the kind of emotion the characters are feeling. So once again, these types of jokes in One Piece should translate fine to a live action if we have a quality enough cast. Finally, there's ridiculous humor. I'm talking about Mary from Syrup Village being a sheep, Kuro wearing poop-shaped buttons, Raizo's head or Frankie building stairs while fighting. These kinds of things will be pulled off well if the visual effects team can keep up. But you may wonder, will audiences find them funny? Will they fit into the live action? Well, I'm going to say yes. Have you never watched the kinds of comedy that kids watch today? Weird Out nonsense humor is trending in a big way, and of course it will depend a lot on the direction of the series. If the creative team behind the One Piece live action isn't afraid to get a little zany, like the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, younger and older audiences alike are going to lose it when they see the kinds of things that are happening. Now, of course, like I said, it depends on the editing style of the series. If you were watching Marvel's Endgame and saw a thought bubble of Zoro forgetting Kokoro, it would look kind of dumb. But a scene like that would fit perfectly into a movie like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So in summation, it's all going to come down to the direction style. That will determine how well this particular type of humor translates into the live action. We've seen it done before, so it is possible, but it rests on them to do what is required to create the right atmosphere for it. Speaking of zany things, you may have noticed the thumbnail of this video. I don't have a lot of people that I really want to see casted in the One Piece live action. I'd like to be surprised. But recently the thought occurred to me that I would really like to see Rebel Wilson. We're talking about comedy today. And I think that the Alvida arc could use a little more comedy imbued in it. I really think that there's a lot of changes that Alvida would need to make her a compelling character, especially since she's almost certainly going to be featured heavily in the first episode. We'll talk about that more in the next video covering the live action, since I do have a lot of thoughts on how they would handle that arc, but personally I think the kind of charisma and humor that Rebel Wilson brings to the stage is something that would fit fantastic with the character of Alvida. Especially if they're somehow able to get Kim Jeong as Buggy, which a lot of people want to happen. I think those two would have magical chemistry bouncing off of each other, and I really think that would make for absolutely hilarious scenes. Plus, Rebel Wilson's lost a lot of weight lately, so she could play both skinny and fat Alvida, just saying. But anyway, let me know in the comments what jokes in One Piece you think they would have a hard time translating to the live action, and be sure to join us on Discord.
Geigo, Geigo! Hey there!
Don't leave without subbing.
Hey there!
Don't leave without liking.
Hey there!
Don't forget to comment. Hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell.